15, the Romans were the first people to build a wooden bridge across the river at London. At roughly the same time, about 3,000 miles to the east, Jesus was born in Bethlehem. After a few years, that bridge burnt down. Another replacement was washed away in a storm. Another was destroyed by the Vikings. The Saxons built a couple more, and so did the Normans. By the time Pip arrived in London, 1,600 years after the Romans, 10 different bridges had stood on the same spot. In 1601, London Bridge had shops and houses running alongside it. Walking across was like walking down the street. That's why Pip hadn't realised he was actually standing on the bridge. He wandered slowly from the north end to the south, stopping every few paces to inspect the shopkeeper's display, rows of sweet-smelling spices, pairs of fine leather shoes, balls of multicoloured wool, or to stare at the crowds. He saw a woman in long dresses, men with twirly moustaches, and a little dog in its own leather coat. Halfway across, there was a gap in the houses. Pip stood on the edge of the bridge, gripping the handrail. He could see up and down the river. Houses lined each bank. Smoke billowed into the air from hundreds of chimneys. Some of the buildings included St Paul's Cathedral and the Tower of London, for instance. These were bigger man-made structures that Pip had ever seen. For the first time, he had a real sense of the city's vastness. A man stood behind him, peeing off the side of the bridge, creating a long yellow arc which extended gracefully down the river. On the water, a boatman steered to avoid the stream of pee, saving his passengers from getting wet. Pip turned his back on the peeing man and walked to the end of the bridge, then stopped and stared in horror at the 30 human heads. Now, in 1601, people's heads were chopped off and it was called beheading. You might have discussed this in history when we talked about the Tudors and how Henry VIII's wives were killed. That was the punishment for betraying Queen Elizabeth. Your head was chopped off. So, you should be an honest citizen and a faithful Protestant. Don't betray the Queen. Don't consort with Catholics. Don't spy for the Spanish. Be careful, be obedient, and be good. That's the end of chapter 15. I wonder what Pip will discover in chapter 16. I look forward to hearing all about it, Year 4.